Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, a time management expert shares her tips to get more out of your day. A look inside the stampeding success of Aussie icon Rhino Rax, and Aussie Bum share their best tips for business success. Hey, welcome back to the 9th series of Kochie's Business Builders, and it gets more and more exciting each and every year. Now, I know there's a bit of uncertainty about the economy at the moment, and in times like these, you need good advice and a strong community to help your business reach its potential. And that's exactly what we hope to bring you here at KBB. We have a huge series ahead with some great entrepreneurs and experts on hand to share their advice, plus a brand new segment just for startups. Hope you're ready. We're really excited to be back. Let's get right into it with news you can use. Getting a grip on cash flow is key to running a successful small business. It's no surprise then that the reason 90% of small businesses fail is because of poor cash flow. Research shows there are over 2 million actively trading businesses in Australia, so staying competitive is crucial. Stop guessing or hoping for future success. Find out if your business is meeting expectations, plus best case, worst case, and most likely scenarios with cash flow forecasts and calculators. A cash flow forecast can help predict upcoming cash surpluses or shortages so that you can plan ahead, while an improvement calculator can help visualise key indicators of performance using real financial data. By getting on top of these key numbers, you'll be in a much better position to succeed. Meega Aboulian is the owner of Lixie Chocolatieri and a one-woman chocolate maker with a storefront in Sydney. But doing it all has left her short of time and unsure where to dedicate her effort to see the best business results. To help her get back on top of things, we sent in the Director of Time Stylers, Kate Christie, to help sharpen her focus.
Hi Meega, thank you so much for having me at Lixie Chocolaterie. It's a beautiful, beautiful shop. Tell me a little bit more about how you got started.
The Lixie journey has been a pretty long journey. It took me a good 2 years to plan to open this store. We've only been in the space for about 8 months, but to get here was a lot of hard work.
Give me an example of a typical day.
There's admin to take care of, there's orders to put in, there's the chocolate to make, there's, serving my customers out the front, being a barista, being the creative person behind it, thinking up of different recipes. So I do find it difficult sometimes. Which one do I do first?
Sure.
What do I do next?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate. I think the problem of wearing all the hats in a business is that when you stop, the business stops. You are going to be multitasking all the time.
Constantly.
And when you multitask, you often feel quite busy and you feel like you're getting through a lot because you've got so many balls in the air that you're juggling. It's actually not true. When you multitask, you're actually 40% less productive than if you're able to focus on a single task and get that task done.
Right.
The other thing is that the more you take on and try and manage yourself, the more difficult it becomes for you to actually filter irrelevant information.
Okay.
And what that means is that all of your work output will suffer.
I've been approached by a lot of people about wholesale, and I can't introduce that just yet because we're just so busy keeping up with the day-to-day activities of running this store.
Sure. Look, one of the things in trying to do it all is that you are going to stifle business growth.
Definitely.
And if you're being approached by wholesalers already, they're additional income streams for you.
I agree.
So what you need to start thinking about is hiring in or contracting in help as and when you need it, because you're not going to see that business growth unless you start surrounding yourself with the right people.
After the break, Kate shares her rules for getting the most out of each and every day. Before the break, we learnt about the constant time pressures of running your own chocolate shop. Now some tips to get back on top of the workload.
So a key strategy when it comes to getting your time back is to start mapping your time. Because if you ask a busy person what it is that they do, they'll tell you that they're so busy, but they may not be able to identify in detail what it is that they're doing that's causing all the busyness.
Fair enough.
So if you get some templates, some simple templates, and you start mapping your time in detail, that's the first step to starting to get your time back.
Okay.
What you then do, there's 3 very efficient strategies that you can put into place immediately. Look through that data that you've collected in terms of how you're spending your time. And firstly, remember the 80-20 rule.
What's that?
So only 20% of what you do each day
Yes.
will lead to 80% of your results.
Right.
So
okay.
you need to look at that map and identify what your key skills are, what your core competencies are, your areas of expertise that are leading to the results in the business.
Yep.
And put a circle around them, and they're your musts.
Yeah.
They're the things that you must do
Yep.
to make the business successful. The second step is you look through that list and work out what those around you are good at.
True.
And the reason why you delegate is to make time for yourself for the things that you must do.
Okay.
The third thing is when you look through that map, there's going to be a lot of things that you're spending your day on that fall into that sort of 80% category that aren't leading to direct results. And they're the things you need to identify and start rejecting from your day. What are you doing for yourself? Where's your me time coming from?
Me time, again, is one of those difficult things. I try and make appointments for myself just before the store opens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, when you run your own business, particularly when you're a solopreneur,
Yes.
It's very, very important that you factor in time for yourself.
I agree,
Both
yeah.
just from a mental health perspective, but it'll also make you much more productive when you're in the business.
That's true.
So even if you were to take a 15-minute break during the day or just go out and get some headspace, that 15 minutes will actually result in a 23% performance increase. It's very important to schedule time in for yourself. So much in the same way as you would put a doctor's appointment in your diary or a dentist's appointment in, schedule it in. It's that whole adage, you know, the plane's going down, you've got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah.
You're going to be of no use to your business if you're not refreshed and operating at the best level you can.
It's true. All work and no play doesn't make you a very happy person. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Absolute pleasure.
Some really great advice there. What we've heard from Kate to help stay focused is map out your time, avoid multitasking, use contractors when it's busy. Smart advice that applies to any busy business owner. Well, now it's time for a brand new segment, Elevator Pitch, where I join an expert panel to review 1-minute business pitches from people all over Australia. Let's see who's got the great idea this week. Now, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to live life as if there's a new opportunity around every corner. And you've got to be ready to grab that opportunity as well. So, what do you do when you jump into an elevator with a prospective partner or sales lead? You give them your best pitch. After all, you never know who you might bump into. This is what our brand new segment is all about, getting your 1-minute pitch right on the money. So let's get stuck into it.
Picture this. You're walking through the CBD of your favourite city, carting your laptop. You're thirsty, your bag is heavy, and what you want is reliable Wi-Fi, a comfortable work-friendly place, somewhere that you can make calls. All around you, there are empty offices, but you don't know that. Instead, you're sitting on a dirty bench next to 2 14-year-olds who are slurping on each other's tongues. In an office above you, there's a young business that has space available that you could use. Most of the time, they have one desk empty. Have you ever been in that situation? Maybe both of them? AnySpace Global solves this problem. In Adelaide alone, commercial rents have increased 17% in the last 12 months. And in March this year, there existed 200,000 square metres of empty office space. Join us at anySpaceGlobal.co, list your space, hire a space, and help us turn all of those empty and underused spaces into economic growth.
Wow. It's sort of the couch surfing of desks. Michael, that's a bit ingenious.
A very clever concept. Obviously, there's a need for it. My only concern is, I mean, you've got Surfcorp, but also with technology these days, a lot of people are working from home.
I suppose you'd have to come up, Anna, with stats that say, all right, you've got people working from home, but if they have an appointment in the city and they don't want to go to a Surfcorp, just a desk to fill in between times.
I do like the idea. It's kind of like Airbnb, but for the corporate markets. You know, it's very low cost in terms of, you know, for people, you just jump in there for 2 hours perhaps, and it's a win-win for both people involved. You know, I could be in Brisbane, we don't have an office in Brisbane, but I need to do a conference call with the US. I'm not doing it from a cafe. I'd like to have a quiet workspace. So I think it definitely is a good idea.
This space is actually growing a lot. There's a couple of companies like Hotdesk and that type of thing that exist already. Sydney and Melbourne have quite a few already in the market. And what we're actually seeing at the moment is places like Regis and Surfcorp launching their own versions of this as well, where you can come in and have a co-working space for a couple of hours. There's nobody that's really dominant in the market yet. So if she gets her marketing right, if she gets her the right investors on board or the right advisors on board, I think that she could actually be quite successful because nobody owns it yet.
All right, so really good idea, but you're going to have to get in quick because there are a lot of players moving into it. Maybe look at a strategic partnership, but great idea. Coming up next, we find out how Rhino Racks founder Richard Cropley built his business empire, plus lessons from iconic undies brand Aussie Bum. Richard Cropley put his house on the line to take a punt on Australian-made roof racks. Now, Rhino Racks is a global business, growing 15% a year in Australia and 45% in America. We caught up with Richard to find out how he made his greatest gamble a winner.
So, Richard, it's a rock-solid business you've got here. Tell us a bit about it and how you got started.
Well, humble beginnings, Alex. Originally back in '92, I had the small retail business called Roof Rack City, and then I was actually selling 40 of these little roof racks every month with fiddly nuts and bolts, and I thought I can definitely make a better mousetrap overall, and decided to put my house on the line, build these 3 injection moulded dies with the plastic legs and a new commercial bar. Anyway, put it on the line, did it, started wholesaling it, and it worked. Really, a couple of years later, from those humble beginnings, it's just grown. 800 dealers around Australia. We're now exporting around the world.
Right. And how's the manufacturing process changed over the last 23 years?
Technology has just advanced so far, whether it be 3D printing, whether it be new extrusion technology and so forth. Everything is so much faster. We could come up with a concept in the old days and it would take you 6 months to really get that project up and running before the tooling was finished and so forth. Today, you can design it overnight, you can have your 3D models overnight. The speed of technology today is just phenomenal.
So, Richard, how many staff do you have in the business today?
I believe the last count's about 165. Of those, 125 here in Sydney. But we've got the others are scattered between our distribution base over in Perth, New Zealand and the USA. But I'm very, very fortunate to have a top management group who look after everything for me.
How do you get the best out of your managers?
Well, you incentivise them, you teach them, you train them, you mentor them, you bring in people who have got the expertise to start with. They're all highly qualified. And, you look after them. It's as simple as that. It's like our customers. You build the relationships and just and let it keep growing and make sure they have some fun along the way.
So, Richard, you say you've China-proofed the business to an extent.
Yeah.
How have you overcome issues of identity theft and counterfeit products?
It's always a problem for any manufacturer today. However, the best way to stop it is to go out with sensible pricing, clever design, and have a network of dealers who are loyal to. And this whole business is very much relationship building, and that's very, very important.
So you took the plunge just before the GFC to set up a distribution facility in the States.
Correct.
How did that pan out?
I thought to myself, well, it couldn't get any worse than what it was over there. And, you know, humble beginnings again. We put reps on the road and end up selling one roof rack. And I quickly realised this is the quickest way to go broke. So the boys over there, they wanted to go into warehouse distributors. I said, no. I said, let's go. And mind you, the dollar was going against us then as well. But let's go direct to the .coms, who are going direct to the end customer. Now, that was the smartest move which we ever made.
Do you think that's a tactic other businesses should look at, getting their brand set up firmly online with a view to building into bricks and mortar distributions?
Well, it's a great lesson here, yes, most definitely. We knew we had to build the best website in the world, and we're still working on it. We've got a team of guys, photography people, we've got a team of web developers. It's just so critically important to have the best information there.
Now, your product's pretty straight down the line, admittedly. How do you get people excited about it with your marketing?
We're very fortunate. The product advertises itself. Once you get it on top of the roof of a vehicle, we've got thousands around the world now, hundreds of thousands of those little advertising signs, those little stickers on every roof rack.
So you've been going for 23 years now. What does the business look like in 5, 10 years' time?
I think it'll be probably double the size again. Look, in Australia we grow anywhere between 15% and 20% a year. In the US, we're growing at 45, 50%, and I think that will continue for some time.
Now, Richard, you're an incredibly accomplished businessman in your own right now. What's your advice to other small business owners?
Concentrate on one area and do it well. Learn about that product, travel, whatever it takes, but just concentrate specifically in one area to start with.
So from 3 chunks of metal and your house on the line to this global business, Richard, fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, Alex, appreciate it.
What a great manufacturing story that is. We always hear about the death of manufacturing, but if you're a niche player, you can get it right. A big character who's won out by building strong relationships, establishing a solid presence online, and old-fashioned marketing, getting his product in front of people's eyes. Next up, our resident tech expert, Val Quinn, is back with his latest insights, and then I'll answer one of your questions in Ask Kochie. But before that, it's Lessons from Legends with Aussie Bum founder, Sean Ashby.
Hi, my name's Sean from Aussie Bum. Here are my top tips for a successful business. 1, have fun and have passion in whatever you do. Accept you're human, and when you make mistakes, grow from them. Don't see it as stepping backwards. With money, always keep your eye on it, right from your bank balance down to who you're paying it to, and also what you're buying as well. When it comes to working with people, first you need to build their trust and get their respect. That's more important than selling, basically. And in business today, it's all about relationships, and relationships where you both can grow and prosper in business. That's really important. And for me, to evolve in business is to always stay focused on what it is that you want, and to innovate or to simply, enjoy your life.
It's Tech Tip time with Val Quinn.
For years now, we've been living in an age of work requests, primarily fueled by email. In fact, we send and receive 108.7 billion emails every single day. By using teamwork applications and eliminating the need for status emails and meetings, you always know what's happening. By doing so, you're setting yourself on a path to reduce unnecessary clutter, stress, and lack of clarity in your work life. Now, there are teamwork products out there like Asana or Wrike, and you may even have features built into your current email software to improve efficiency and collaboration.
All All right, time for Ask Kochie now. And Robin in Queensland tweeted this question to us. My partner and I are in the process of setting up a business. Neither of us have done anything like this before and we need help finding manufacturers. Great to hear, Robin, you're starting a business, guys. Now, the first step of finding a manufacturer is to head online to draw up a short list of suppliers. The Industry Capability Network is a good spot to start with a database that matches businesses with locally sourced suppliers. It's fantastic. Alibaba is another site with wider international supplier listings that could be useful. And of course, Austrade is another great resource if you're looking at the international stage. Then, once you have a list of potentials, look at their costs, their delivery times, location, and the big one, reliability, and also returns policies to weigh up the best manufacturer for you. Don't forget, once you settle on a main manufacturer, make sure you have a relationship with another one in case they fall through. Now, for regular business tips, resources and news, be sure to check out KBB on Twitter and Facebook and let us know how you go. Coming up on next week's show, we look at how to get digital marketing for free, catch up with the business behind the Harbour Bridge light shows, and talk to the Managing Director of LinkedIn here in Australia, Cliff Rosenberg.